Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of the Mid-Sussex District Council Cabinet. I'm Councillor Jonathan Shepherd's, the leader of the council, and I'll be chairing this afternoon's meeting. For the benefit of members of the public watching on the live stream, to my right and in front of me are members of the council's cabinet who will be participating in this meeting, and to my left are members of the council's management team who will be assisting us. I'll start off by reading the safety announcement for those present in the chamber. The building fire alarm signal is a continuous two-tone alarm. On hearing the evacuation alarm, please leave the building by the nearest marked exit route. Follow the green signs to the assembly point, which is the large staff car park opposite the entrance to the building. Anyone who cannot use the stairs will be helped by officers present after others have left. Do not return to the building until told it is safe to do so by an authorised officer. And if I can remind everyone, the whole of the council site is a no smoking area. Mobile phones should be switched to silent, and filming from the public gallery is permitted, but members must please refrain from filming within the council chamber to avoid distracting the meeting. The first item on our agenda today is to receive any declarations of interest from members in respect of any matter on the agenda. Are there any declarations, colleagues? There are none, thank you. Item 2, to receive any apologies for absence. We have apologies from Councillor Salisbury, who's on leave. Item 3, to confirm the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 17th of October. The minutes are in our paper packs, colleagues. If I can ask you to confirm whether you're happy to agree those as an accurate record of that meeting, please. And those minutes have been agreed with 6 votes in favour. Thank you. Item 4 is to consider any items the leader agrees to take as urgent business. I don't have any. Which takes us to item 5, the Budget Management Progress Report from April to September. The report is going to be introduced by Louise Duffield, Director of Resources and Organisational Development. Thank you.
So members, this paper sets out several movements across the revenue budget which result in a sustainable mid-year position, and that's been achieved despite a challenging external climate. So in the previous report we reported a £700,000 pressure. That's now rising to 1.2 million, and the major contributing factor to that is CPI, which at the time this report was prepared was running at 10.1%. However, on the flip side, the council's investments and therefore its treasury management income are also predicted to rise in line with interest rates, and that enables us to almost offset that deficit, leaving us with a net position of projected 41,000 overspend. In addition, we've also looked at the capital schemes, and we've reprofiled a number of those schemes into a rolling year spend, and as we go forward that's something that we'll be doing routinely. So what you'll see is that all those projects are on track, but we've set out the spend over the lifetime of the project, which is a movement of £4.9 million. So I'm happy to take any questions on that.
Thank you very much for that, Louise. Colleagues, any comments or questions on that report? Councillor Webster.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you for the introduction and for the report. I just wanted to pick up on the £82,500 received from the Home Office in respect of dispersal of asylum seekers grant, and how that is, I suppose what I want to know is what our responsibilities are in that area, please, and are we confident that we have the relationships that are needed with various groups in order to care for the asylum seekers that may seek permanent residence in Mid-Sussex. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn to Simon Hughes, Director of People and Commercial Services.
Yes, I'm pleased to say that we do have very good relationships with both voluntary agencies that we work closely with, and we've been talking to them also in relation to our UK shared prosperity funding. So what we're trying to do is to link both this funding and other funding to ensure that we've got capacity to support asylum seekers across the whole district, and that those agencies who work well with them also can build their capacity. And we have also an ongoing plan that looks at how needs change over time, because that obviously the first services that you provide will change as those people are more familiar with the area. So I can assure you that we are looking and working closely with our partners.
Thank you for that. Councillor Demir.
Thank you, Leader. One comment and one question. Really great news about the parking income, which just shows that we're getting there and hopefully good for our economy as well. So that was good news. Question was, yes, the Hackney carriage fees, which are below target and have been for a wee while. Is this to do with people's different work habits now? Or is it, as I'm hoping, that firms are moving down here and so people don't want taxis from the station and commuting? But the question really is, do we know why they're down?
I actually don't, and if you don't mind, can I come back to you after the meeting? Is that okay?
Of course, that's fine. I might have a ignorant question. On page 9, the last column, key income expenditure, to note 2022-23 budget unadjusted. I'm assuming I can ignore that column. Because what we're looking at is the projected year-end variance. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Councillor Hillier.
Thank you, Lady. Yeah, just a quick comment. Bullet number 6, the Capital and Major Projects Programme. Delighted to see that officers are going to work in a clearer profiling approach, because we know that inflation and resources having a huge impact. I just wondered, is there any kind of thoughts on when that is going to be done and when we may see that work, please? We're doing a huge amount as a council and it's very important to us, but it's not going to be easy.
So I think that's really about bringing our financial reporting in line with our practice, and I think actually those people managing the schemes are already thinking in that way, and what I want to do is make that really clear and transparent for you here. So we'll do that as part of the end of year wrap up and the future budget setting for future years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Webster, I think you might have an update on Hackney carriages for us.
Thank you, Chairman.
I want to demonstrate my knowledge of my portfolio, if I may. And I do believe that the issue around the Hackney carriage income is partly due to phasing, and it's also due to the fact that post-COVID some drivers are not coming back into the industry, and what we are currently doing is a demand survey to find out exactly what the demand is. As Councillor Demir said, that it may be a change in demand, so that is done periodically every few years, and as part of that we'll be looking at electric cabs and disabled accessible cabs and so on as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Webster. Diligent as ever, much appreciated. I'll come to Councillor Belsey next.
Thank you, Chairman. And just echoing Councillor Hillier's comments, very pleased to see the profiling in respect of the very exciting capital programme that we actually have some really good, exciting projects across the district that have always been phased projects to be completed over a number of years, and it's great that the profiling will now match that. I think a lot of residents will not be surprised to see that the councils have got increased expenditure and expend pressures for the year. But I don't think everyone would realise that they're necessarily going to be matched by the increased income coming from, as you say, rising interest rates and effective investment decision making. But I was just thinking to myself, well, actually, surely it must be more than that, isn't it? It's because we've got the reserves and the cash and made those investments in the first place, which has allowed us to benefit to that extent of the increasing interest rates. And I can't help but reflect, whilst not being complacent, that I'm very grateful for the good stewardship of this council over the last decade to get ourselves in that position, as I imagine a lot of councils are facing the increased spend pressures, but without necessarily having the reverse in terms of the extra income coming in. And just grateful for any comments on that. Thank you.
I would just add to that that our ability to attract substantial external funding also plays into that, because whilst we're delivering those programmes, that money is sitting there also adding value for us.
Thank you. I haven't got any more indications to speak. I completely endorse Councillor Belsey's comments, and I think it's very sensible that we use treasury management income, which we've always considered a bit separate to our revenue budget, but I think very sensible to bring that into our budget, essentially rising costs from inflation and higher earnings from interest are kind of two sides of the same economic coin at the moment, so it makes perfect sense to use them accordingly and to get our budget back on balance. Also very pleased to see that work around reprofiling of capital. I think it's something that Cabinet have been quite keen to see for a while, so pleased that's being taken forward. And an £8 million capital programme is not to be sniffed at, and as colleagues have highlighted, some really important projects for our communities there being delivered, and both of those only being achieved because we are in a strong financial position, and so a reassuring half-year update on that work, so thank you for that. I'll take members to the recommendations, which are set out in page 7 of our papers. They are paragraph 8, little 1 to little 7. I won't go through them all in detail, but they are set out in the papers, so I'll ask members to vote on those, please. And that has been unanimously agreed with 6 votes in favour. We'll turn now to item 6 on our agenda, which is performance monitoring for the second quarter of 2022-23. This report also being introduced by Louise Duffield, Director of Resources and Organisational Development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this report sets out the performance indicators to the half-year point. What you'll see is really strong performance in the vast majority of KPIs, and the few where they're not on track, there's very clear reasons for that and a rationale set out in the report. For example, the substantial additional demands on the revenues and benefits service is obviously creating ongoing pressures there, but they're doing a brilliant job. So I didn't plan to go through in any detail, and if that's okay, I'll take questions, and if I can't answer, I'll ask my colleagues to help.
Thank you very much for that, and the report was considered by the Scrutiny Committee at its meeting on 9th of September that a number of us were in attendance at, and we've got their comments from paragraphs 12 to 16, so I'll just highlight that for colleagues to ensure we have seen and considered those comments. But I'll turn to colleagues for any comments or questions on this item, please. Councillor Webster.
Thank you, Leader. I just wanted to comment on the health and well-being interventions that are taking place. And it's really pleasing to see the increasing numbers of referrals that are coming in from GPs, first contact practitioners, social prescribers and so on, who work out in the communities of Mid-Sussex. And as more people are getting back to seeing the GP and so on, we are getting a substantial number of referrals in from GPs. And what's really pleasing is to see the number of people who are experiencing an improvement in their health as a result of our interventions. And the subsequent cost savings that are made down the line by, for example, preventing people from having falls and breaking hips or damaging knees and so on, because those operations are very expensive, and the amount of money that is saved nationally within the NHS long term is very significant and runs into hundreds of millions of pounds. So it's money that's well spent, and that was clearly fully discussed at the scrutiny meeting, and I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing so, Councillor Webster. Councillor Hillier.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just in relation to bullet number 10, the electric vehicle charging points. It's brilliant how all these have been rolled out. I think the work that officers have done in combination with county has been superb. I just wondered, it may be too early yet, but in terms of the usage, etc., is there any sense yet whether that's kind of on track, or are there any concerns with the contractor, or I suspect it may be too soon. Just, I was wondering if you could put any context around those figures, please.
Thank you. I'll come to Simon Hughes for that.
Thank you. Yes, it is too early to say for the moment. However, from the data we have, it is what we'd expect currently. As we get more data and more detail and analytics on that data, we'll be able to see what we may need to do to change that, to increase or decrease in some areas usage, so that it's meets our net zero targets, but also meets the need that are presenting in those particular locations. So, for example, some people charge their vehicles for a very short period of time, and therefore they move in and out of particular spaces, and we need other people coming into those. Other people charge for longer, and we'll know more of that information and more of those locations as this pilot rolls out. But it's looking very positive at the moment.
Brilliant, thanks. Now, can I just quickly come back with a comment thing? Well, not a comment, a question. And thank you, that's really heartening to hear. But of course, I'm aware that they're going to start rolling out the next phase, which is where they're going to go on some more resident streets, which may or may not impact these. But thank you for the feedback. It's a great project.
I'll come next to Councillor Demir.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, just to endorse what Mr. Hughes said, it is a bit early at the moment to, and of course, it's only just going out to consultation for a few of the first roads. So again, more information will be there. I also actually wanted to endorse Councillor Webster's comment about because I was in the doctor's surgery and there plastered over the walls is our well-being. And they actually say, if you need any of this, the doctor can refer you. So well done on that. That wasn't what I pressed the button for. I just wanted to say well done on this report. I'm so pleased to see that the visits to the leisure centres are continuing, which is good news, given the challenges that we have with the expenditure on them. But the other thing I was going to flag up was the percentage of pay and display transactions for our parking, which I believe initially we had a target of something like 25%, which has now been increased, but we're still way above that. So it was a really good decision to invest into our car parks. So well done, everyone, again.
Thank you. Councillor Cromie.
Thank you. Just to say, it's very pleasing in the report to read that the amount of compliments we've received are 84 compared to 34 complaints. I know when I look at some of the complaints that the condition of the Orchards toilets has come up, and that's something that has been highlighted on social media to me over this year. So really delighted to see that the new toilets will be going in. I was going to ask when, but by the art of telepathy, I've just had an email to tell me when that is. So delighted to see they're coming in on the 1st of December. I really hope that's going to be an added benefit to the town and will encourage more people who have disabilities and accessibility problems to shop in our towns just before Christmas.
I think that might be the date when the work starts, rather than when they're open. Sam, is there anything you wanted to add on that? I think I've got that right, haven't I?
Thank you, yes. Leader, that is when the work starts, but we expect to be filming the toilets coming in just over Christmas, so you should be able to see that.
Brilliant, thank you very much. They will be well received by our local residents. I haven't got any more indications on this report, so just endorse the comments have been made. Very strong performance, pleasing to see as ever. So thank you for that. And we'll turn to the recommendations that are in our papers. So we're requested to note the council's performance in the second quarter of the year and identify any areas where further reporting or information is required. So if I could ask members to vote, thank you. And that has been unanimously agreed with 6 votes in favour. That brings us to the end of today's Cabinet agenda, so I thank everyone for their attendance and their participation. I'll close the meeting formally at 4:22, and if I could ask everyone to remain in place while the live feed concludes. Thank you.